These 10 sci-fi movies all featured villains who found themselves on the wrong side of a force, a creature, or even a mere human being, who thoroughly schooled them in every way that one can be. That is, usually just killing them. All in all, these sci-fi baddies just didn't factor in the possibility of a bigger, badder enemy materializing to challenge them. Well, more fool them. So I am Gareth, this is What Culture, and here are 10 sci-fi movie villains who encountered something worse. Number 10. Cyborg, Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. The William Shatner directed Star Trek V: The Final Frontier may not be a great or even particularly good Trek movie, arguably the worst of the lot even, but it does offer up a relatively unique motivation for its primary antagonist. The main villain is Cyborg, the Vulcan half-brother of Spock who plots to travel to the planet Sarkar Troops because he believes that he can find God there. Cyborg eventually succeeds in his plan, coming face to face with God, who actually turns out to be an evil alien entity which was sealed on the planet in the distant past. It's at this moment that Cyborg realizes he has effectively been duped into bringing a starship to the entity, which it can use to escape. Upon taking stock of this, he apologizes to the Enterprise's crew, cites his own arrogance, and ultimately sacrifices himself to ensure that Spock and company can flee. In the very least, Cyborg was an interesting, well-acted villain trapped in a woefully uneven movie, and one who got the opportunity to redeem himself once he realized what he was going up against. Number 9. The Necromongers, The Chronicles of Riddick. You know things are incredibly dire when the heroes seek out a damn bloodthirsty serial killer to clean house and save them from an army of religious zealots. The Chronicles of Riddick's opening narration, read aloud by the deliciously velvety stylings of the great Judi Dench, really say it all. In normal times, evil would be fought by good, but in times like these, well, it should be fought by another kind of evil. And indeed, a long-told prophecy dictated that the aforementioned zealot army, the Necromongers, could only be defeated by a Furian, prompting the group's leader, the Lord Marshal, to commit a genocide against the Furian people. This left only Riddick alive as the final Furian, and boy did the Lord Marshal sure underestimate what he was going up against or what. With Riddick's criminally violent nature and outstanding physical abilities, he eventually fulfills the prophecy, murdering the hell out of the Lord Marshal, and in a cute twist, taking up the Necromonger throne himself at film's end. Number 8. Jeff, Men in Black 2. In Men in Black 2, Jeff is a freaking giant alien worm which happens to reside in New York City's subway system, because why the hell not? Agents J and K first encountered Jeff at the very start of the movie, and he reappears during the final battle, when J and K are pursued by the villainous alien Selena. The spaceship chase leads down into the subway, where Selena fails to see Jeff parked at the end of the tunnel, causing her to fly directly into his gaping maw, seemingly being devoured. Except a few minutes later, Selena reemerges, having absorbed Jeff and taken his form as she stages one final stand against the heroes, who finally put her down with some well-placed blaster shots. Jeff quite understandably assumed that this dainty-looking woman couldn't do him any harm, but he evidently didn't count on her being an ultra-powerful alien monstrosity herself. Now I've got a quick question for you. What is your favorite sci-fi franchise of all time? Is it the Men in Black or something else? You let me know in the comment section right down below. Number 7. The Tusken Raiders, Star Wars Episode II: Attack of the Clones. In Star Wars Episode II: Attack of the Clones, Anakin Skywalker's dear mother Shmi is kidnapped and ultimately killed by Tusken Raiders, who have evidently spent the last month torturing her, and God only knows what else. Yet for reasons that will seemingly remain a mystery forevermore, the short-sighted Raiders didn't anticipate that Shmi might have some family with the wherewithal or physical ability to go looking for her, let alone a young Jedi son who's very, very angry about what they did to his sweet ma. And so after tracking Shmi down and watching her die in his arms, Anakin goes full scorched earth on the entire tribe of Raiders, slaughtering the lot of them with his lightsaber, in what's ultimately the tipping point for his slow turn towards the dark side. In this case, the Raiders were just straight up complacent, evidently believing they could do whatever they wanted to Shmi with absolute impunity. Not even close. Number 6. Dr. Emma Russell, Godzilla King of the Monsters. For all of the monstrous creatures featured throughout Godzilla King of the Monsters, the most loathworthy villain in the entire movie, it's Dr. Emma Russell, who is eventually revealed to be working with a group of eco-terrorists, and decides to help reawaken the Titans in order to heal the world from the environmental damage caused by humanity. Yet, given that she's undeniably motivated out of grief for her son dying in the events of the previous Godzilla film, and seems bafflingly blind to the many billions of lives her actions put at risk, she is a card-carrying bad guy, and honestly far more of one than the movie seems at all prepared to admit. But Emma finally comes to realize the error of her ways near film's end, once King Ghidorah wakes up. Yep, that will do it. Whose awesome destructive capabilities are demonstrably far worse than any planet-ravaging activities that could be carried out by humanity. Ultimately, Emma gets a small slither of redemption by sacrificing herself to distract Ghidorah in the climax, in turn buying time for Godzilla to recover and fight back. But it was certainly too little too late for one of the most strangely motivated antagonists in any Godzilla movie. And just a quick thank you for checking out this What Culture video today. If you like what you see, then go and hit that subscribe button down below. Number 5. Sentinel Prime, Transformers Dark of the Moon. The villain of the third Transformers movie is Sentinel Prime, Optimus Prime's former mentor who was eventually revealed to be a Decepticon double agent who struck a deal with Megatron to assure the survival of the Transformers' home planet, Cybertron. And Sentinel gets incredibly close to carrying out his plan in full, being a single blow away from killing Optimus in the final battle, when he's interrupted by none other than Megatron himself. Hilariously, Sam Witwicky's new girlfriend Carly manages to convince Megatron that he's destined to become Sentinel's B-word, prompting him to intervene in the final battle and mortally harm Sentinel in an attempt to reassert his leadership. Oh, it gets funnier though. Megatron then posits a truce with Optimus, who soundly responds by ripping his whole damn head off, and then executing Sentinel for good measure. In the movie's better-written novelization, though, Optimus does indeed spare Megatron's life. All the same, Sentinel Prime really didn't know quite who he was getting into bed with when he aligned himself with Megatron. Number 4. The Sarkar Troops, June. Absurd though it might be to compare 3 human soldiers to a skyscraper-sized worm, we're gonna do it anyway. Near the end of Denise Villeneuve's first June movie, Dr. Liet Kynes is attacked by Sarkar Troops after helping Paul and Jessica escape. Kynes is stabbed in the chest, and as the soldiers approach to finish her off with a killing strike, she does the only thing she possibly can in her final moments. Kynes thumps hard on the ground, summoning a gigantic sandworm which promptly devours both Kynes and all 3 Sarkar guards in one fell swoop. Needless to say, the Sarkar didn't anticipate such a damn baller move from someone who lives among the Fremen. They got a life-ending receipt for their overconfidence in record time. Number 3. The Raptors, Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park's velociraptors may be far from the biggest dinosaurs that Alan Grant and company face off against. At the very end of the film, the heroes are cornered by the 2 remaining raptors as they attempt to make their escape. And just when it seems like their geese are completely cooked, along comes the T-Rex to snatch the raptors and curb stomp them in mere seconds. Alan and co consequently hightail it out of Jurassic Park, all while Rexy finishes gobbling up the raptors it's so comically outmatched. In fact, Rexy showing up to offer the humans a helping hand against another terrifying dinosaur antagonist has become something of a running gag in the franchise, also happening in all 3 Jurassic World films in varying degrees. Whoever said this series is out of ideas, right? But as much as Jurassic Park fans love their Rexy, make no mistake, she is a damn apex predator. Number 2. The Engineer, Prometheus. There is plenty of blame to go around in Prometheus, but protagonist Elizabeth Shaw's immediate antagonist at the end of the movie is the recently awoken Engineer, who seemingly plans to release its black goo pathogen on Earth, unless she can stop it. During the chaotic climax, the Engineer attempts to attack and presumably kill Shaw, but her bacon is saved when she opens a nearby door, unleashing the fully mature squid-like alien creature she extracted from her womb earlier on. It's a bit of a long story. The creature's tentacles violently grab hold of the Engineer, while Shaw makes her escape. And despite the Engineer's evident size and strength, it's ultimately unable to fight the gigantic monster off. The Engineer is promptly attacked by the creature's ovipositor. impregnating it with its offspring, which hatches out of its chest as a proto-xenomorph at the very end of the movie. Needless to say, the engineer assumed it'd be able to pretty comfortably dispense with the puny meat sack humans without much resistance, and did not count on Shaw's oversized child coming out to play. And number 1, Saris's Army, Galaxy Quest. Galaxy Quest may not be a movie that anyone's supposed to take seriously, but that doesn't mean its army of villainous goons didn't end up face to face with something abominable they never could have expected. In the climax, the army of alien warlord Saris get a grim surprise when Fred manages to teleport the gigantic rock monster which previously fought Jason onto their ship. And so a room full of the alien mooks are helpless to do anything but watch in stupefied awe as a gigantic rock creature suddenly spawns in the middle of them on board the vessel. The monster promptly beats the snot out of the assembled soldiers before smashing a hole in the side of the ship, sending itself and all the remaining aliens flying into space. Unlike Saris's doomed goons though, the typically irate rock monster seems weirdly contented as it hurtles through the apparently calming vacuum of space.